Terry Schachschneider is about to lose his job. He works at the General Motors factory in Janesville, Wisconsin. The plant builds some of GM's biggest and least fuel-efficient vehicles. Sales are down, and the company will soon close the plant.
Well, they got 3 plants making these big things, and the gas mileage is terrible on them.
America's 2 largest car companies, General Motors and Ford, have posted huge losses amid slumping U.S. sales. So Chairman Rick Wagoner says GM, like Ford, will close some factories where the least fuel-efficient vehicles are made.
We can't sit back and wait for U.S. conditions to improve. We need to continue to be proactive and even take some very tough actions to ensure our survival and our success.
The auto industry is shifting to smaller, more fuel-efficient cars and developing vehicles that run on other sources of energy. The world's airlines are also going through major change, largely because of fuel prices. Delta and Northwest Airlines are proposing a merger that would create the world's largest airline. Many U.S. airlines are cutting flights and service while raising fares. Several airlines have announced big staff cuts, including Australia's usually profitable Qantas. It plans to trim 1,500 jobs next year. The International Air Transport Association says 24 airlines collapsed in the first half of this year. The chief executive officer of one of the biggest U.S. airlines, United, recently told Congress the situation is serious.
It is, for us in our industry, a crisis. It really can't be called anything else. We are going to lose 30,000 jobs in our industry this year as a result of this extraordinary pressure from these unprecedented oil prices.
Airline analyst Philip Bagley with Standard & Poor's in New York says more U.S. airlines could go under.
If the fuel prices stay high, the economy remains weak, we could see some bankruptcies sometime in 2009.
Bagley says the picture is somewhat brighter outside the United States.
On the other hand, a lot of the big Asian, European, and Middle Eastern airlines are pretty strong financially.
Even so, high oil prices are causing problems for Korea's 2 major airlines, Korean Air and Asiana Airlines. Both airlines' sales are up, but high fuel costs have driven profits down. So both are cutting flights and raising prices. In some parts of the world, train travel is becoming more popular. For years, the huge subsidized rail system was a symbol of socialist India. Fares were kept low, but losses kept piling up. Since then, Indian Railways has offered bigger, better trains to carry larger freight loads and more passengers. Last year, it turned a profit of more than $6 billion. Sudhir Kumar is leading the turnaround. He says soaring fuel prices make freight trains more efficient than trucks.
Rising oil prices may be bad news for the country and for the trucking industry, but it is a wonderful news for Indian Railways. Because if my competitors, if they consume 9 liters of diesel per unit of transport, I consume only 1.
Trains may be one of the most fuel-efficient ways to haul freight. One major U.S. railroad claims its trains can move a ton of freight almost 700 kilometers on 4 liters of fuel. Meanwhile, the main U.S. passenger rail carrier, government-funded Amtrak, has had a nearly 17% increase in riders over the past 2 years. Congress is working on a plan to give Amtrak $15 billion for new equipment. Freight train usage is also up, but congestion is a major obstacle to greater reliance on trains in the U.S. Passenger and freight trains share tracks in much of the country. One-track rail lines force trains to wait hours. Experts predict the situation will get worse. Some experts believe a solution would take decades to implement and would cost billions of dollars. Others say larger, more modern train cars and newer computer systems would ease the strain. Kent Klein, VOA News, Washington.